Today we're looking at another small compact case. We looked at the H1 from NZXT a little while back and I was really impressed by just how it all folded in together as very like Transformers. But the Revolt 3 from HYTE is another one that is in the same kind of size, but it does offer a little bit more flexibility, especially with cooling. You can put up to 280mm AIO in this over the 140 that's in the H1, although that one is built in and does come with it. You can get this one in a white or black, also with a power supply or without it. It's $129.99 for the bare bones, or if you want a power supply version, I think it's a 750 watt gold you get with it. It's $199. Price wise, you can find the H1 for, it was I think less than $200 in some cases, which was really great value for money, especially considering it had a power supply and an AIO in it as well. So if you'd like to see a full breakdown comparison of the H1 versus this, and do let me know, something I can do for you guys. But let's crack this one in open and see what we've got inside. So nice instruction manual. Oh, it's full color as well. Well, it's colored in yellow, but obviously goes with the branding. Very nice. So that closed cell foam, very dense. This has a handle on it, so I'm going to actually use that to get it out. There we go. That was easy, wasn't it? First impressions. Do you like the handle? I'm not sure about the silver. I think I'd like it just to be all white. It is just giving H1 vibes. Obviously, a lot of case companies do borrow ideas from each other, so this is obviously a case here. A case that. Let's have a little breakdown of it. So as I mentioned, we've got this handle. This can take up to 16 kilograms of weight. If you're going to buy the one with the power supply, that's 6.3 to begin with. So you've got another 8 or so to play around with. It also has a little, like the kitchen units that have no handles on, a little push pin thing to lift that up. Certainly very cool though for a LAN kind of case. I don't think the H1 has a handle, so that's certainly something very handy to see. So I'll just lay this down so you can see the full dimensions. It's 409mm long, 253 wide, and then 178 on this side here. Let's actually talk about the I/O while we're in the right area. So we've got USB Type-C, this is USB 3.2 Gen 2. We've got two USB Type-A's, these are USB 3.2 Gen 1. We have a microphone headphone jack combi, then also the power button that seems to be like it's going to have some illumination on there as well. Another little thing that we didn't see on the H1, on each side, there's this little push thing. You pull that out, you've then got somewhere to hang your headphones or your gaming headset on. And then it's the same on both sides, so you can use whichever one is easier for you. Or you could put one on each side if you have a pair for your PC, a pair for your PlayStation, something like that. Quite a nice little built-in feature. So let's get into the actual case. Now I've left this as a totally blind kind of unboxing. I've not actually looked up anything to do with this other than the key specs that I've got notes on. So we're going to look at it together and you're going to get like the real first impressions and stuff. So I'm guessing this is a pop panel, yep. Seems we have got removable magnetic dust filters, just slides out. A couple of sleds for SSDs, so two 2.5 inch drives. You can also see there's a 3.5 inch bay, just down a little bit lower. Power supply capabilities, you've got SFX, SFXL. As I mentioned, you can get this with a power supply if you'd like to, but I'm personally going to use one from FSP, which has the ATX3 12 watt high power cable, so we can use the 4070 with it, hopefully. We'll go over graphics cards and stuff you can fit in as well in a minute. Let's have a look at the opposite side. Again, I'm just going to presumably pull it off, yep. Here we have the mounting panel for our AIO. Let's get a screwdriver and take that out. So the H1 has its own little like side mount that just unfolds. There's a full video on the channel if you want to check that out. But this one has its own little bracket. So we've got accessory box as well, which we'll look at in a second. So like I said, you can do up to a 280mm AIO on this. I've just had the Be Quiet Pure Loop 2 arrive, so maybe we could use that. It's only a 240, but their performance and their AIOs are very good anyway. So maybe we could use that one for a build. Let's have a look in our little accessory box. I was hoping we'd see one of these. So we've got a adapter for the headphone combi jack, so you can break it out if you've got a headset that has both cables. And we've got some cable ties, mounting hardware. There's also a couple of expansion brackets in there as well. I'm guessing they've already taken them out. Yeah, so it's just ready to install your graphics card, which is nice. So that's those. Let's have a look underneath actually before we look more inside. We've got all our I/O and stuff like that. So there's the USB 3, USB Type-C, and a front panel all in one block, which is good. certainly taking inspiration from NZXT there as well. Power cable will go in the back, and you've got a nice chunky switch for that. You can actually take off this other front panel as well, so that all comes out nice and easily. So I've just taken off the last panel. All of these have got filters on as well, with the little magnet at the bottom, so you just lift that up and then they'll slide out to clean. Really nice design. I'd also look to see if I could take the hard drive cage out as well, but you do have to put your FSX power supply in there as well, so it doesn't really make a difference. You could always tuck some cables down there if you wanted to. Then last but not least, we need to talk about clearances and things. So just lift this up and it kind of pops in place and stays there, which is nice. So for your CPU cooler, you can have a maximum of 140 mil. If you have one with the hoses that come straight out, you might run into a bit of clearance issues when it comes to closing the bracket for the AIO. So I would recommend that you use one that's got like the rotatable fittings on the side, just to make life a little bit easier. So graphics card wise, we have up to 335 mil a length to play with. There is a compatibility chart on the website with a couple of examples. I've got a few of the cards here, the bigger ones, to see what we can fit in, but of course there's so many on the market. Certainly look on the website and see if there's one that matches if it's not here. So let's first try the 4070 Aero. This is a card that I've recently looked at, and one that I actually plan to use in this case. So hoping that this will fit not without any problems, which it seems like it will. One thing I am a little bit concerned of is the clearance for the 12 volt high power cable. Might have to look at getting one of the right angle adapters to then go up and then across the card, especially as the clearance is going to be very tight. And I think it's about 30 millimeters of cable you're supposed to leave before you actually start bending it. So that's certainly not going to cut it as is. So we're going to need to get some adapters, unfortunately, for a 40 series card. Next, let's try the 7800 XT. This is the Hellhound from Power Color. Full video on the channel if you want to look it up. I don't know if we'll be able to get this. Oh no, it's not going to fit. I think we're going to be able to get away with it. So I've just taken out the screws that are in the top of the case to see if we've got any other options to bring it in from maybe the top and slide it in, because going in at a diagonal certainly didn't work. Looks like we've got an area to put a couple of like 60 mil fans if you like to, but we'll take this out. So now we've got that cover out and the bracket. Let's see if we can slide this in. Oh, just about. So now I think, oh, you can get it in as well. Yes. And I think you'll be able to clip that in without any problems. That is so tight. That fan bracket will go back on, but obviously you won't be able to mount any fans because you've got the back of the card there, but that will fit just about. I'm now going to push my luck and see if we can get the 4070 Ti Tough in there. Oh, it will fit. Hell yeah. Look at that. And you'd have enough clearance to be able to clip it in as well. So that one you can see fits okay, but again, we're going to have the problem with the 40 series cards and the adapter that it needs. So I think the 7800 XT is really the limit of this case. So I'm going to end this video off with it disassembled like I did with the H1. Let me know what you think about it in the comments box. Certainly more flexible in terms of options, especially being able to mount the 280mm AIO. The H1 was good, but the 140mm cooler on that was just a little bit limiting, especially for higher end SKUs. So let me know what you think. What should we do with it in terms of what parts should we put in there as well? I'm certainly thinking the 4070 Aero, like I mentioned before, and then we'll go maybe 13700K, something like that. Maybe the 14700K that's just arrived. Could do that one. So I'll leave the pricing and availability and all that stuff in the description if you want to pick one up. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Get subscribed and ding the bell so you don't miss any future content. And I'll see you all in the next one.